YouTube, what's going on, boys? I wanted to talk a little bit about a concept that I've learned, a little trick that I've learned. It's observing people's energy and not absorbing people's energy. So this video is for a lot of people who have maybe grew up in a house to where you felt like you always had to read the room and kind of like manage other people's emotions and people pleasing, or maybe you've dealt with like a narcissistic parent or siblings or friends or anything like that. You guys, we run into a lot of people in this world that have dysregulated nervous systems. So there's people in this world that are just flat out miserable. They're just flat out unhappy, hating, projecting their shit onto you, passive aggressive. They're just not happy people. You know what I mean? And so we're essentially just going around the world and we have to run into these kind of people, and they're just spewing their shit onto us. And what I've learned, you guys, is that our brains, the mirror neuron system in our brain is actually designed to sync up to people. So we, whether you do it or not, we always subconsciously kind of sync up to people and their energy. So it's very easy, if you don't have these tools, if you don't have coping mechanisms, to just absorb all this bullshit. You know what I mean? Unconsciously synchronizing to everybody with their emotions. The trick is to just observe it, right? But it takes some self-awareness, and it takes conscious effort, to notice these things, notice people's shit without having to take it on yourself, having to internalize it. Yeah, man, there's a lot of people that struggle with this and they have no clue what's going on. It's this people pleaser stuff. So essentially you grew up learning that everything was kind of conditional. Love was conditional, or if somebody criticizes you or somebody does anything to you, that's like danger to you. Or if they're in a bad mood or if they're mad, like you have to fix it. It's like this alarm goes off. You're like, something's wrong. I need to fix this, right? But that's not how that works. Other people's shit is their own shit. We don't have to take it on, right? That's when you start to internalize it and it starts to affect your nervous system. So the trick that I've learned, you guys, is just to always, always, always be self-aware in every single moment of your life. Be self-aware. Pay attention to your body. Pay attention to your nervous system. Everywhere you go, every single person you talk to, learn to get in this trick to where you're paying attention to how you feel inside of you. Because that's the trick. A lot of people will talk really good, but they make you feel like shit. That's a bad sign. There's people who will trick you with their words, but their energy is bullshit. So we have to pay attention. The trick is to feel your nervous system, feel when you get triggered, be like, okay, this person is doing this to me. Then we can make a conscious effort to be like, I'm going over here. I'm not going to internalize this. I'm not going to take this on. I'm going to choose to go this way. Have fun with your shit. You know what I mean? So there's so many people that don't know how to do this, where they'll just, oh my God, this person's upset. Now I'm upset. Now my day is ruined because this person was upset. Or like your mom or your dad or your brother or sister, your friend is like freaking out, having a bad time. And then that makes you have a bad time. That's not how it should work. Their shit is their shit. It has nothing to do with you. So the trick is just pay attention, and when you notice it happening, when you get triggered, that's when you can be like, I'm not going to identify with this. I'm going to go over here.